Okay, the next section is under operations with polynomials, which is really now we're in section 6.2. Reading along in your notes, it says in a polynomial, all exponents of variables must be non-negative integers. That's going to be pretty important. So it's only considered a polynomial if all the exponents are expressed as non-negative integers. The degree of a polynomial is the degree of the monomial with the greatest degree. Determine whether each expression is a polynomial. If it is a polynomial, state the degree of the polynomial. So I know typically we start with A, but let's just take a look at what we have. We're trying to determine if each of these is a polynomial or not. And one thing that immediately jumps out, if you look at C, we just said that it's only a polynomial if the exponents are non-negative integers. And so these are obviously negative. This is not a polynomial. And the reason is negative integers. Negative integer exponents, sorry. Okay, the middle one, we have, this is an exponent of 1, but this is a weird exponent. I mean, it's not even written as an exponent. It could be. We haven't talked about this yet, but radicals, square roots, that could be written as x plus x to the 1/2 power plus 5. We haven't talked about fractional exponents, but we will. And basically, this is not an integer. And so even though we don't recognize that in this form, if we see a variable in a radical, any root, square root, cube root, fourth root, it's not a polynomial. And in this case, you could say it has a fractional exponent, right, which is not an integer. Or you could just say the variable's in underneath a radical. The first one looks pretty clean. These are not negative numbers. There's no fractions. Everything looks good. All our variables have non-negative integer exponents. So this one is a polynomial. Now, the degree is the degree of the monomial with the greatest degree. This one's simple. This is just a fourth degree term right there. This one, because there's two variables being multiplied together, we're going to add the exponents. And so we say this is actually an 8th degree term. And because that's higher than 4, this is an 8th degree polynomial. Not the biggest deal, but it's something you should be familiar with, recognizing whether or not we have a polynomial and then being able to determine the degree.